Good evening and welcome to California Today. I'm Daniel Hall, sitting in for Lang Jiang. Here's a preview of some of the stories we've got ready for you today. A chain reaction car crash led to a fiery explosion and multiple deaths. We'll have the status of the survivors as well as the driver. The governor is looking to keep Hollywood production in the state. He made an announcement this week that film production has to make a choice whether to film in pro-life states or work in California with tax breaks. And several things have been happening at the state's largest school district. Strict COVID testing has been scaled back, but there are also up to 20,000 students simply missing from registration. A car crash in Los Angeles yesterday resulted in multiple deaths and destroyed several cars. The driver survived the crash. NTD's Jackie Rios has the details.
On Thursday afternoon, a car ran a red light about 10 miles southwest of downtown Los Angeles, causing a fiery car crash that led 6 dead and 9 injured. 1 baby was killed and 6 children were hurt. According to the California Highway Patrol, 8 individuals were hospitalized. The female driver of the Mercedes-Benz that allegedly ran the red light and set off the chain reaction of crashes survived. As of Friday morning, all the surviving victims have since been released from hospitals. The CHP says only the female driver is still being treated at Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. One of the victims involved was just about to get out of her car when she heard an explosion. Another witness standing at a nearby gas station said she saw a large fireball erupt from the collision. According to NBC4, the female driver is a traveling nurse. The driver has been placed under arrest on suspicion of vehicular manslaughter, CHP officials said. The district attorney's office will determine the criminal charges. So far, there has been no reports of alcohol or drugs being involved. Jackie Rios, NTD News, Los Angeles.
The governor has declared his support for expanding the film and tax credit program. The wording of his message suggests he wants to lure movie production away from states that have a strong pro-life stance.
Governor Newsom has declared his support for enlarging California's film tax credit program. In an August 3rd statement on Twitter, he targeted California-based film production in other states. He wrote, "It's time to choose. Over the past several years, the legislatures of states like Georgia and Oklahoma have waged a cruel assault on essential rights." Newsom said he supported the state legislature's Senate Bill 485, which would add another $1.65 billion to the tax credit program. The program spends $330 billion per year on tax credits for the industry. Last week, about 400 television creators sent a letter to studio executives demanding protection for employees in states with abortion laws. The state's nonpartisan Legislative Analyst's Office reported in 2016 that the economic output of the industry generates about 2% of California's economy. Productions that received the tax credits generated nearly $22 billion in economic output and supported more than 110,000 direct and indirect jobs in the state. Newsom's message comes just days after insurance company Geico abruptly shut down all of its California offices. Geico is one of the many recent companies to stop operations in or leave California.
Students attending Los Angeles Unified can expect less COVID testing this school year. The superintendent is scaling back testing along with depleting funds and enrollment.
The Los Angeles Unified School District is scaling back on its COVID requirements for the upcoming school year. Mask mandate is gone and the weekly testing will stop for most people. Students and staff still need to upload a negative test result before returning to campus. Regular testing is only required for those with COVID symptoms or have had close contact with someone who tested positive. The district stated on August 2nd, quote, "As we have entered into a new phase of this virus, Los Angeles Unified is able to nimbly adjust to changing conditions." While some worry about a transmission surge, those who believe that masks hindered students' ability to learn and socialize welcomed the change. Sharon McKeeman, founder of Let Them Breathe, a parent advocacy group that advocates for ending school mask mandates, said the district is, quote, "doing the right thing." She told the Epic Times, "Parents and students standing up for their rights are returning common sense to the equation in education." The reduced testing comes as part of Superintendent Alberto Carvalho's strategic plan to cut spending. He said in June that he's preparing the district for when the federal funding runs out. LA Unified received about $5 billion in federal pandemic aid last year. Testing and contact tracing were projected to cost almost $600 million.
Along with less COVID testing and funding, Los Angeles Unified also seems to have less students. That's according to recent enrollment as the school year is about to start. Reasons range from COVID protocols to other obligations.
With only 2 weeks left before school starts, the Los Angeles Unified School District is still missing between 10,000 and 20,000 students from its rosters. District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho said last week at a press conference that lack of transportation could be preventing a number of students from attending school. Some chronically absent students that Carvalho reached out to also told him, quote, that they themselves were caring for their younger siblings and that they themselves were working 1-2 jobs. The district's strict COVID-19 protocols last year may have contributed to increased absenteeism. Carvalho added that parents may have also opted to homeschool or enroll their kids elsewhere. He said at the press conference, quote, parents are taking their time to file the documents. The number of California families filing homeschool affidavits rose from 15,000 to 35,000 in 2020. As schools reopened last year, that number fell to about 25,000. This comes as the district faces a looming enrollment crisis. A May 17th Board of Education report predicted that after 2022, LA Unified's enrollment will decrease by 3.6% each coming year. Bill Thomas, NTD News, Los Angeles.
Police in Southern California arrested a serial burglar last week who is suspected of stealing $500,000 worth of products. This is nearly the 20th time he's been arrested, and the prosecution is trying to keep him away with more charges.
Brea police from Orange County arrested a suspected serial burglar in Los Angeles, Ontario on July 27th. 28-year-old Devin Taylor has allegedly stolen $500,000 worth of goods. According to Brea Police Department, Taylor has committed multiple thefts across the state. He most recently stole $70,000 worth of fragrances in Brea. Lieutenant Chris Harvey told the Epoch Times that Taylor is charged with one theft so far. However, the prosecution seeks to either add charges to the case or bring new charges against him through the Superior Court of Orange County. Taylor has been arrested 19 times. He was first arrested in February 2015 by San Francisco police for concealing stolen property and auto theft. His later arrests have been linked to domestic abuse charges, petty theft, violation of parole, and misuse of fake identification. Taylor is held in the Orange County Jail without bail. He will appear in court August 8th at the North Justice Center in Fullerton. Liang Zhang, NTD News, California.
Recalled San Francisco District Attorney Chesa Boudin announced on Thursday that he will not be running for the position again in the November election as he previously intended. The announcement was made on Twitter saying, quote, I am choosing to put my family first. I will not be running for office in 2022. Boudin cited that his son is about to take his first steps, his mother's medical research, and his father returning home after more than 40 years in prison. Boudin was recalled in a special election in June after being in office for just over 2.5 years. We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at some of the great stories we got ready for you when we come back. A nearly 100-year-old hospital in Los Angeles may be getting some new life in it. While most of the top floor sits abandoned, the county board is looking to turn it into affordable housing. San Bernardino is looking to continue one of Elon Musk's former projects. After he stopped pursuing the idea with his boring company, the county is looking to make a tunnel from a metro station to its growing airport. That comes as a law came into effect at the beginning of this month, allowing renters to raise prices. The governor signed it into law several years ago. That and more on California Today. Los Angeles' historic General Hospital may be seeing new use. That's after much of it has sat abandoned since an earthquake nearly 30 years ago. The plan is to convert it into affordable housing.
The Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors unanimously approved a motion in July to advance a plan to repurpose the county's historic general hospital to include hundreds of affordable housing units. Under the proposal, introduced by Supervisor Hilda Solis, county departments must develop a financial plan and construction timeline for the project within 120 days. The General Hospital is a 1.2 million square foot, 19-story building sitting atop the campus of Los Angeles County USC Medical Center, located in the Boyle Heights neighborhood. First built in 1933, much of the building has gone unused since the 1994 Northridge earthquake. It's 19 stories, but only the first 4 floors are used for non-hospital activities. The plan to make an adaptive reuse of the building began in 2018. The General Hospital Innovation Plan is part of the county's Restorative Care Village project, which aims to provide county residents at risk of becoming homeless access to supportive services.
San Bernardino is considering an idea where Elon Musk left off. After his Boring Company backed out of an idea to build a tunnel, the county's transit authority is looking into making a miles-long stretch connecting to its new airport. NTD's Jackie Rios talked to one of the officials about why they're pursuing an underground solution to traffic.
Ontario International Airport is one of the fastest growing commercial airports in the country, and driving to and from the airport can be a time-consuming chore. Now the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority has a plan: shuttle people to and from the airport using an underground tunnel. Last month, a virtual meeting was held to propose for a 4.2-mile-long underground tunnel to connect the Cucamonga Metrolink station to Ontario International Airport. Tim Watkins, an official with the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority, explains how this project could benefit the community.
So the tunnel connection that we're exploring right now, we're studying, is from the Cucamonga station here in Rancho Cucamonga. It will travel underneath Milliken Avenue, through Ontario to Airport Drive, and then connect over to Terminals 2 and 4 at the Ontario International Airport. Passengers can expect up to about 10-minute long ride directly from here to there.
The first proponent to building an underground tunnel in the area was Elon Musk with his Boring Company. But his company has since backed out of the project. The San Bernardino County Transportation Authority has not given up on the idea.
So the Boring Company, a company of Elon Musk, did provide us an unsolicited proposal to introduce a tunnel connection between the Cucamonga station and the airport. We applaud that kind of innovation as it approaches new solutions to old challenges. We had to vet that consideration out, and we're doing that. And by doing that, we've come to the project that we are now. Bidirectional service, looking at other ways to develop that project from a funding perspective.
Of course, with any large project, the price tag is always on people's minds. On top of that, Southern California is prone to earthquakes. Watkins said that the Transport Authority is considering those details.
Our estimated cost for the project right now is at $492 million. By comparison, if we were going to look at an above-ground transit or rail connection to the airport, those estimates go anywhere between $1 and $1.5 billion. So it's quite a stewardship component to the public resource. When it comes to seismic concerns relative to the tunnel, those are all things that are being explored through this stage of the project delivery. Our commitment is to provide a safe transportation system for the public. There's other seismic concerns related to above ground transportation systems too. So this is what we see as a more affordable option, and we think provides more relief for the ground transportation that's currently there.
Watkins argues it's worthwhile as there's more and more growth potential at the Ontario Airport. Above ground and with traffic from the metro station can take over 20 minutes. Watkins is worried if the airport keeps growing, the traffic may get even worse.
We're already seeing local growth of the airport. In fact, we're seeing other regions now venture into San Bernardino County as a travel option for whether it's international travel or other domestic travel. Providing more access to the airport is only going to provide benefit to that growth potential. This airport has room to grow, and we want to grow with it, making sure that we provide appropriate transportation solutions that allow for that growth to occur without impacting local communities.
The project is currently in its preliminary stages and still must receive approval. If the project is approved, a tunnel connecting a major airport hub with the local Metrolink train station could be an ideal situation for commuters, air travelers, and an ever-growing Ontario International Airport. Jackie Rios, NTD News, California.
There could be massive rent increases on the way for millions of California residents. Landlords are now legally allowed to increase costs by as much as 10% for some homes. NTD's Andrew Thomas reports.
Statewide safeguards to prevent evictions during the pandemic have come to an end. Legislation limits rent increases to 5%. But now that inflation has ballooned, the limit is up to 10%. Ulises Del Bosque is fighting eviction proceedings from his new landlord.
I feel a little nervous every time I come to the mail because I don't know if there's going to be an eviction note or a note from the court. Whenever I come to the mail, I come with my nerves on end, too stressed.
Juan Garcia has lived next door for 17 years. He too is fighting eviction. That's because he's refused to pay an increased rent rate.
Yes, I'm worried because they wanted to raise the rent, but unfortunately, I told them no, I did not accept that they raised it, but the other tenants did.
A local group called Strategic Action for a Just Economy gives free legal advice to renters.
Many tenants saw decided decreases in their income during the pandemic. So we're in an unfortunate situation where inflation may allow landlords to increase rent just at a time when tenants can't really afford it at all.
Larry Rubenstein owns around 20 apartment complexes in Los Angeles and has hundreds of tenants. He says the rent increases are necessary.
Operating a building costs a lot of money, and it's not clipping coupons. This is a business. We run a business. We try to run a good business. We try to take care of the residents.
Los Angeles is now one of the most expensive places to live in the United States. According to Zillow.com, the median rent for a property is now just over $3,100 a month. That's an increase of $782 in rents over the last year, and 45% higher than the national median. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
Private universities now have the authority to punish or expel trespassers. This comes as public universities have had the right already established.
Governor Gavin Newsom recently signed a bill that would allow private universities to punish trespassers with fines or jail time. The law was enacted as an urgency statute, meaning it took effect immediately. Author of the bill, Senator Anthony Portantino, wrote it would help create safer college campuses by ensuring there is the ability to enforce trespassing at these colleges and universities adequately. People who have been instructed to leave campus will be punished for trespassing by a fine of no more than $500, by imprisonment in a county jail for no more than 6 months, or both. Public universities already have the legal authority to take such actions under existing law, but private universities could only hand out written warnings and escort trespassers off campus previously.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for your sports roundup.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup. LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers are discussing a 2-year extension worth $98 million, according to multiple reports. James, who is 37 years old, became eligible for a contract extension on Thursday and met with general manager Rob Pelinka. He can become a free agent in 2023 if he opts to do so when his contract expires, but ESPN reported the initial talks with Pelinka were productive. Uncertainty about James's interest in a new deal exists because of statements he has made about spending his final season on whatever roster his son, Bronny James, winds up on as a rookie. Bronny James attends Sierra Canyon High School in Los Angeles and is currently not eligible for the NBA draft until 2024. Currently, Bronny is ranked 47th in his high school class. If that ranking holds until 2024, Bronny will be looking to go somewhere in the NBA draft's second round, a player that most teams in the league would have at least one opportunity to select, including the LA Lakers. The Athletic also reported Bronny James could consider the NBA G League or NBL in Australia after high school. Either way, any potential contract extension for LeBron James seems to hinge on the future of his son, Bronny. The Angels became the first team in MLB history to score 7 or more runs in a game, all on solo homers, according to stats. The Angels combined with the A's for 9 homers, but the Athletics got 2-run bombs from Seth Brown and Laureano and also capitalized on 8 walks from Angels pitching. All this resulting in the Angels losing, despite hitting 7 home runs. As if anything typifies this season more for Los Angeles. Oakland, which scored 6 runs in the 3rd inning and 2 more in the 4th, won for the 9th time in its last 13 games in the rubber match of this 3-game series. Oakland starter Paul Blackburn ended a 7-game winless drought, during which his ERA was 8.05 by surviving 5 innings. He gave up 4 runs on 6 hits, 5 for extra bases, and walks none. He struck out 3. A's 8, Angels 7. The bullpen picked up injured Clayton Kershaw with 5 innings of 1-run relief, helping Los Angeles complete a 4-game sweep over host San Francisco with a victory. The Dodgers' 5th straight win overall and 8th in a row versus the Giants might have been a costly one. Kershaw, the All-Star Game starter, was removed from the game before the 5th inning with lower back pain. Kershaw missed more than a month bridging April and May earlier this season with SI joint inflammation in his lower spine. Kershaw left with a 4-2 lead, having allowed a 2-run homer to Giants newcomer J.D. Davis in the 2nd inning. Dodgers 5, Giants 3. Ryan McMahon homered and drove in 5 runs, and Kyle Freeland held the Padres scoreless until the 6th inning, as visiting Colorado defeated San Diego to avoid being swept in a 5-game series. McMahon smacked a 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 5th inning and a 2-run double with 2 outs in the 3rd to lead Colorado. However, the key play of the game might have been turned in by Rockies left fielder Sam Hilliard when the game was scoreless in the bottom of the 2nd. Josh Bell singled to open the inning, and Brandon Drury followed with a drive headed toward the left field seats. But Hilliard raced to the wall, turned and made a leaping catch with his glove clearly above the wall to deny Drury a homer and the Padres a 2-0 lead. Rockies 7, Padres 3.
And that's all for California sports. Back to you.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-Today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm Daniel Hall, sitting in for Lang Jiang. Have a wonderful evening.